Hey guys, let's talk today about what you need to know to be a fertility yoga teacher. Fertility yoga seems to be becoming more and more popular, and I find women are seeking specific fertility yoga classes as opposed to just going to a general yoga class because they want to know that what they're doing isn't going to risk a pregnancy at all, that they can really relax into the practice and into the space and know that the teacher that they're working with is an expert in fertility and knows how to work with their body safely. So if you're a yoga teacher and you're considering teaching fertility yoga, I'm going to go through the 3 things that I think you need to know to teach fertility yoga. So the first thing you must absolutely know is how to bring the nervous system down, how to work with women who are going through an extremely stressful, potentially long-term ongoing process that is causing them stress and anxiety, and how to give them tools and practices to come down from that stress and anxiety, which the good news is, as a yoga teacher, that's our core business. We teach people how to come down, how to work with their nervous system to get out of that fight or flight response and to get into that rest and restore state. So the good news is, as a yoga teacher, you already have a lot of these skills to help women come down from that stress. The biggest challenge when working with women who are going through fertility treatments, though, is that it's often an ongoing process. So you will have some women coming to your classes for months, sometimes years. And when you're working with these women, it's really important to give them tools that they can use in their everyday life. You don't want them coming to class and having to undo all the stress that's been going on through the last week or the last month. You really want to give them daily practices. So this is why when I teach fertility yoga, I'm always trying to give them tools that they can take off the mat into their lives as well to help manage the stress as they go through fertility treatments or just as they encounter the different stresses that happen along the journey, whether that be miscarriage or loss or just the repetitive cycle of loss as we go through the 2-week wait and then to receive a negative result. The second thing that I think you need to know to be a fertility yoga teacher is the different phases of our menstrual cycle and the different energies and how to work with them. Fertility yoga is really about embracing the feminine and working with our own natural rhythm and energy so that we can be in the best health possible. Fertility really is the icing on the cake as a healthy person. So I always emphasize to women that they need to focus on creating a healthy body, a healthy mind, a healthy spirit, and as a result of that, fertility will be the cherry on top. So in this way, if we start to work with our menstrual cycle as a guide for self-care, it can be a really powerful tool, not just while we're trying to conceive, but once we enter motherhood and beyond as well. So learning about the menstrual cycle is so important and involves learning about the 4 different stages so that we go through a winter phase when we have our period and the energy is really about turning inward and reflecting and is almost a psychic energy where we can really connect with our own intuition. Then we move into the spring phase where it's like a renewed energy, things are fresh. And sometimes in this phase we can get a little bit carried away doing all the things all at once. We often want to say yes in this phase. And then we move into our summer phase, which is our mother energy. This is when we're ovulating, we're feeling really social, really outgoing, and we want to serve and do things for other people. And then we start to head into our autumn, which is the winding down in energy, and this is when our self-critic often gets the loudest. And if we haven't looked after ourselves through the other stages of the cycle, this is when we often feel PMS, out of balance, like we just want to rip everyone's head off. So if this is completely new information for you, I really recommend learning about the menstrual cycle if you're going to teach fertility yoga. I will leave the link below for my fertility yoga teacher training, where we go through all of these elements and really take a personal inquiry and deep dive into the menstrual cycle. And this will inform your own life, but will also help your teaching as well. And then finally, the third thing I think that you need to have in order to teach fertility yoga is empathy for the trying to conceive process and how hard this can be for some women. So this might be through personal experience. You might have gone through this yourself, or maybe you have someone close to you who has gone through it and you've supported them and you understand how hard it can be. If you have that deep empathy for this struggle and you have a willingness and an interest to learn about all the different varying paths that fertility journeys can take, then I think you will make a great fertility yoga teacher. And the reason I think you need to have this deep empathy for how hard the struggle can be is because a lot of the women that you will see in your classes will be really struggling. It can be a massive challenge. It can turn a woman's life, her identity completely on its head. And you will need to hold space for her throughout this transformation, throughout the journey, and throughout all the struggles that she may go through, which is why it's so important to have that deep empathy so that you can connect with her and so that you can hold the space for her to do the work and the healing that she needs to do in your yoga classes. So that's it. They are the 3 things I think you really need to know in order to teach fertility yoga. Like I said, if you would like to deep dive into any of these areas, I'll leave the link for my fertility yoga teacher training below. And if you have any questions, please let me know. I love teaching fertility yoga. I love holding this space. I get emails from women all around the world who practice with me and who find my classes so helpful. And my in-person classes always just leave me feeling like this was the work I was made to do. So if you are feeling called to this as well, please go and check out that training. Good luck on your teaching journey, and namaste.